So what's your name and how long have you been skateboarding for?
My name's Jon Bishop and I've been skateboarding 5 years.
And how old are you now?
I'm 49 years old.
And what was it that first inspired you to start skateboarding?
Well, it's been a long run, Geordie. I reckon I was looking at the Tony Hawk's computer games in the early 2000s, and the penny didn't drop because I was sort of doing surfing and windsurfing, and I viewed skateboarding as a bit reckless and possibly something that could injure me. So I steered clear of it, but I was totally up together with skate culture and I really identified with that whole scene. It's just that my focus was more in the water than it was on land. So it really came to a head on my 44th birthday where I just couldn't make any more excuses, and I decided to go and get my first set of pads, and I ended up in Prevail Skate House that afternoon trying to roll down a flat bank.
And your skate journey has been slightly different to a lot of other people's, and it's something you've documented from the start. What was the idea behind that?
So my job is a musician, and when the lockdown hit, I suddenly found myself with not a lot to do. So I built a mini ramp in my back garden, mainly to keep the kids amused, because my son JJ and my daughter Holly really like to ride skateboards. But I found myself getting carried away, and I started trying to learn tricks, but I found that because I was skating completely on my own and there was no option to have people around me, I needed that little extra push over the cliff to get the tricks done. And even on that small mini ramp, I found it so frightening. I found the camera just gave me that little extra bit that would get the trick done. And I thought, well, I may as well edit these into little videos. And I started posting them on the YouTube, and much to my surprise, I think just due to the lucky timing, there was loads of other people in a similar boat. So they started building mini ramps and trying to learn tricks. And it started becoming a bit of a community of everybody all getting involved.
So a little bit of a shout out for your YouTube channel. What's the channel called?
It's called Jon Bishop Skate.
And one of the things that your channel is known for is your perseverance and slamming. I've known you for many years and I've seen you take many of a slam. What is it that inspires you to get back on your feet and continue trying these tricks?
I think I'm a bad sport, and I think when I was a competitor in other sports, I just hated losing so much that it gave me no other option than to really try my best to fulfill my goal. And with skateboarding, it's sort of like you're competing against yourself, and the bad sports person in me just won't let it lie. I won't let myself get away with it, and I would have that same rush of negative emotion if I walked away from that battle. So I think I have to get myself into a position where I can justify risking it all. And you've seen that today. I was trying to 50 grind into the deep bowl. Now the deep bowl for me at Ducklane is just, I hold it in such high regard, because when I was a beginner, that was what it was all about, was trying to carve around it. So the thought of trying to 50 in from the top would have been lunacy, and today that was the thing that motivated me. I started getting a sniff of it, and then I just thought, if I go away from this now, I was tempted as well because I was so scared, but I thought if I just leave this now, the feeling I'd have for the rest of the day and probably the rest of the week would have been unbearable.
And of course the YouTube channel has helped inspire people to start skateboarding, to maybe pick up a skateboard again after a long break, but also in terms of the learning and the coaching tips that you provide from your own experiences. If there was someone, or if you could talk to yourself back when you were 44, what advice would you give to anyone looking to get into skateboarding, or someone who wants to get back into skateboarding?
I would say don't make the mistake that I made, which is leave it till 44. I was prejudiced against skateboarding. I had made all these decisions that it was reckless, that I was going to hurt myself, that I wasn't going to be able to play guitar for a living, and you can keep making all these excuses and they are justifiable. But in my case, I just did a SWOT analysis, and I know that sounds a bit geeky, but I literally wrote down the strengths and the weaknesses and the opportunities and the threats of taking up skateboarding, and I went through it methodically until I was happy that starting to learn to skateboard was something that was a good decision for me.
Awesome. And one more time just for the camera.
Yeah, that's right.